Hey everyone, welcome to my Black Adam spoiler review. If you have not watched the movie, please do not watch this video until you have seen the movie. As I said in my last video, some of my reviews will not have video and image overlay. It is in regards to how soon I am able to record my review. Personally, I really liked Black Adam. I think the critics were wrong on this. To me personally, this is one of the best DCEU films so far. To me, it's easily one of the top 3 DCEU films for me, along with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I will go over the negatives and things I'm a bit uncertain about first, and then get into the positives. To start off with, for me personally, one of the most glaring problems in this film is the music, or at least some of it. At least some of the songs and scores that were used for this film did not really fit the dark and gritty tone of the movie. A lot of it was really cheery and upbeat. And I get people want to do really lively music for action scenes, and that's not to say they can't use like really energetic and lively music, but not necessarily maybe in the same tone. Like this movie was supposed to be really was supposed to be, as I said, dark and gritty, and maybe not necessarily use horror music, but like really give that film like that sense of foreboding and tension. Like in some of the scenes, we did get that, like maybe during the confrontation between Black Adam and Hawkman, where they're glaring each other down, when they're staring each other down, and you can hear that tense music, not like it's going to lead up to like another fight between them, even though it didn't. But music like that through the film would fit this film because of this sort of tone. Even though there is like humor and everything, which I'll get into a little bit, if you're going to present a character like Black Adam, like a really very serious and stern character, having music that corresponds with him, like, is important to like selling this to audiences. Having that sense of tension and uncertainty, or that dark, deep music that really helps bring home the brutality and seriousness of this film, was something that maybe did have its points where it was true, like I said, with the confrontation, but there's too many parts where there was the really lively and almost cheerful music. I know, like like they use the song from the most recent Power Rangers film, which I don't know if I'll do a film on that. Which I don't know if I'll do a review on that, because but anyway, but no, the music, I think I get why they did that, because like a lot of action films and everything, you have like this upbeat and like really energetic tone, but with something like this, something that's meant to be really serious and gritty, you can't exactly use the same kind of that you can't use that kind of music for moments where Black Adam is showing how he fights and how he goes after people he sees as evil. That was really one of the main glaring problems with this film for me. It's one of the things that does, like, in a sense, like make certain moments of it a bit kind of iffy to watch, because like you can, as I said, it doesn't give like this feeling of seriousness and like danger, not for Black Adam obviously, but for like the people who are trying to kill him, and they don't know it, because like bringing in that tone, that score for like this dark and powerful character, where he's ready to unleash his might at any moment, that would have helped like give this movie more of the feeling that it was promised. It like I said, it has parts of it where it's true for that, but these glaring moments where the songs don't fit the scenes, or for the character for that matter, is just one of its problems. Now this is going more towards like the uncertain or maybe not fully explored parts. One part is the is Black Adam's powers in the sense that they weren't fully explored. Like Teth Adam, he learned English really quickly. He didn't even didn't use his power of wisdom that he was gifted by the wizards to learn this new language. Because he's been trapped in that tomb for 5,000 years, and he all of a sudden learns English just like that. That kind of felt kind of iffy to me. I mean, I guess maybe he like. Actually, I don't think I have a good explanation for that, but that's one part. Like it obviously showed his strength, his power, his courage. Each of those were fine, but like some of the other parts of his powers were not really delved into that much. Of course, this is more of a dark, gritty um, film, and a lot of people wouldn't want to see Black Adam tearing through people, which we did see, but we did not get like the full spectrum of his powers, and that's something that would have fleshed him out a little bit more, even though he was fleshed out. I'm not saying he wasn't, but if like you're gonna have like him have each of these powers granted to him by the wizards, that connected him with the Egyptian gods, show him like being able to understand and use these powers correctly, or at least show the ones that were not really fully explored. Other than the ones that go into like action and fight scenes and everything. Show the more complexities of his intelligence. His comprehension skills. But that was something that I thought wasn't fully explained. And with the JSA, they have a role in this film that's true to the characters of or the heroes of DC. They're coming in to stop Black Adam from killing people because as with like a lot of these characters, the heroes have the usually really have the no killing policy, or at least not killing humans, which is because these characters sometimes kill people or entities that aren't human, which is kind of inconsistent and kind of bullshit at times. But no, they were what their role and their place in this film was understandable. But like Hawkman, he was he was really well portrayed. The really stubborn and gritty character. Who's very proud. Of himself and his moral standing, and how he interacts with people and how he views justice and how he interacts with his teammates and how he sees the world in a more, black and white way. Which that's the case for a lot of these heroes, so to speak. But one part that I had uncertainty about was Dr. Fate. Like Dr. Fate during parts of this film, he seemed kind of nerve to me. Like, he's got god level powers. He's a Lord of Order, or Nabu is, and we see him doing all these incredible, amazing things with his mystic powers. He's one of the most powerful DC characters, and I'm not saying necessarily for him to defeat Black Adam, because I think in the comics, Black Adam faced the JSA and defeated them, I think, including with Dr. Fate. Maybe perhaps I'm wrong about this, but I think maybe he could have gone a little closer toe to toe with Black Adam than he did. But he still, more better than his teammates did, obviously, because he was more powerful than them. Though with Hawkman, his nth metal, apparently in like at least some of the DC stories and some of the mediums, nth metal is apparently like the supernatural is kryptonite, apparently, and it's been used to face off with immensely powerful supernatural beings, people, and that was not really in this film. I mean, it was described as practically indestructible, which we saw going going up against Black Adam and Sabbac, but I was kind of uncertain because I thought a Hawkman would have proved maybe a problem for Black Adam, not totally, but in the sense like him facing off against a element that could possibly hurt him although we had with the turnium in this, and also I always had uncertainties about its metal because it's technology that is useful against the supernatural, which I've always had issues like how does technology like overpower magic in the sense of like it being like it's kryptonite, but that I'm not going to get into that totally. But no, with this we see as I said, complexities and like these characters were fairly well portrayed. Um, Cyclone and Atom Smasher weren't as fully fleshed out as I thought they would be, though there's apparently like comics that took place before this film and that went into both of their characters. Um, and I did read them. I just thought that maybe they would get a little bit more fleshed out in this, but this is obviously a Teth Adams film. He's a titular character and everything. But having a good film is having fleshed out characters, supporting characters, main characters. No, it's not. It's just the main focus was obviously Black Adam, and Adam Smasher had like that, almost like a I don't know. Well, his mask had like a Deadpool vibe, but no. Anyways, that's besides the point. The humor in this film, was good at times. When it felt like natural, it like when Adam Smasher, uh, hit not didn't intentionally hit Hawkman or something like that was that was good. But times where Black Adam like was going into the whole catchphrase thing, I thought it's kind of iffy because Black Adam, he's very stern and serious. I don't think he would really bought into the catchphrase thing. Or if he did, like it would have taken a little bit longer. Like have him like connect and bond with Amon further, and like let him like maybe understand the world a bit more, and have him maybe possibly like entertaining this because of his bond with Amon. But no, I don't think he would have gone with it right away. But that's just another iffy point. This is just going to be kind of brief. Is the Rock playing Teth Adam or Black Adam? Now, Mr. Johnston is, as far as I'm aware, not of Egyptian or Middle Eastern descent, and people do talk about having true representation for certain characters in live action media, while Mr. Johnson may not be of the specific character's descent, how he portrayed Black Adam, I thought was very good. There is some issues there, but just to get that out of the way. Though with The Rock, he wasn't his usual The Rock character, as some people say. He was some of his acting felt a little bit forced at times. He still felt like he was really doing, like acting as Teth Adam. You feel like he's really giving he's really trying to bring this character to life, which I think he does. I think he does really well. I mean, there are problems, obviously, but you see him really trying to bring this really serious and dark character the respect that this film needed him to have. You see this in his interaction with his characters and how he views himself as as a superpowered being. He's brutal, which was good. How he tore Sabak in half like that was really good. He shows he was totally serious and intent upon his violent actions in regards to what he views as good or as just. Even though he doesn't view himself as a hero, and like Hawkman as a hero, which I'll get into a little bit later. But we see him really trying to present this imposing, dark, and intimidating character, which The Rock really does bring to him. Because even in other roles where he wasn't like the same powerful character as Black Adam, we sometimes see him as this imposing and like a fierce character, and he does bring this to Black Adam. Maybe not as much as I hoped he would, because I think he was maybe forcing it a little too much, but I do think he really did well with trying to naturally act as this character as much as he could, and as much as he did. One maybe doesn't necessarily have to understand Black Adam's comic origin necessarily to watch this because there are defining differences with this, like how 10th Adam gets the powers and how he acts once evil in Kahndaq is vanquished. I won't go into the specifics about how he gets the powers, and at least some versions in the comics is not obviously great, and he takes power in Kahndaq. And here, it felt more what happened, how he got his powers, and how he chose to act. Was more out of love, which I thought was really great because one of my favorite parts, if not my favorite part, was when Harut told his father that what Kahndaq really needed, and that Kahndaq needed him, and what he does to help people, and what he does to protect people. And I thought that was really great, showing this complexity of morality and seeing that sometimes things aren't black and white. We see that Harut really does love his father and sees that while being hero or protector or freedom or justice or whatever, he sees what his father has to offer, and he 100% believes in him, which I thought was really touching. And we see Black Adam destroying the throne. He didn't believe Kahndaq needed a ruler or a king. He thought it needed a protector. And showing that he did not want power, showing he just wanted to protect his people was really great. Was really genuine, and like how he really cared for his people. And as I said, with morality, this film, I think it touches on like on morality being more gray than black and white, but not to a full extent. Like we see Black Adam's interactions with specifically Hawkman and how to protect people, what's the best way to protect people, or like people in certain circumstances. Like Adriana confronted Hawkman and the JSA over them not helping them being under military occupation, under a dictatorship, and the JSA not coming in to save them. Whether that would have political or international results or consequences, these were people who were like Kahndaq's history, like the specific points that we see in the film with the time when Kahndaq was ruled by a tyrannical king, and when Intergang was controlling Kahndaq, we see the people under the grip of tyranny and dictatorship and fascism, and people in these situations would see someone who didn't come in to help, like seeing JSA with people who really had a great power, who could have really made a difference. Maybe not the average person, even though maybe perhaps the average person could have made a difference, but people with powers and gifts and technology and magic like the JSA does, not coming in to help the people of Kahndaq when they really needed help, makes people like Adriana see them in a not so great manner. Like as she confronts him, I actually expected Adriana to actually hit Hawkman when he was trying to justify himself and the JSA, which I thought, I'm not like that would have really brought home how much these people really viewed people like who claimed to be protectors and who tried to promote peace and ensure peace as not helping those under such an occupation, under tyrannical control. It would have really presented another manner of understanding of what people really think is best and just. And I thought that Adriana was one of the best characters in this film. Like she presented like the complexities of morality in this, what may be best, what might be most just in at least specific circumstances. And this was, I think, could have been explored more with like maybe more philosophical like debates and discussions with the JSA. Like someone like Hawkman, like I said, he was a very proud character. He was really certain of what he does, and having someone like Adriana, someone who has no power, but who has lived under such horrible circumstances, her and her people living under tyranny and going up against someone who thinks they're so certain of what they do and what their position, what they think is best, and not having helped them really presents that moral difference. Because Hawkman, he argued with Black Adam, but he did not really argue much with Adriana. He did bring in his points, but he was almost like putting down what conduct believed was truly best from what they believed in. Like millennia of believing in Teth Adam, believing in, well, first Root, obviously, because he was the chosen first, he was chosen by the wizards, but then Teth Adam, for whom Root gave his powers to. And we see these people believing in them with their symbol. And they see people who are oppressed, I believe, in one form or another, have a fighting spirit within them. And we see this when Sabak rises and the legions of hell rise up with him, and they fight these hellish soldiers. Obviously, there was a bit complexity there, because obviously a lot of people would have run, and there would be no shame in that. Seeing such an entity coming for you, obviously a lot of people will run. But them rising up and fighting for a free conduct was really inspiring and really hard and really moving, because these people have been oppressed for millennia, generations, and when it came time to rise up, they did. And I thought that was really something. Before I get more into Black Adam himself, I'm going to briefly mention, because if you've watched the film, the credits, you obviously know about this, is Amanda Waller and Superman being in there. Amanda Waller obviously, was really, true to herself. She really wasn't really impressed by Black Adam, which I really think she's an idiot. I mean, she thinks she can control anyone. I mean, obviously she does with, her chips and everything. But as with like the people who went up against Black Adam, they're looking down on him, thinking they could take him. Like, you're really spitting in the lion's face and thinking you can face up to the lion with no consequences. I mean, obviously she calls Superman in, which I'll get into in just a second. But her being so unimpressed is really just kind of laughable. Do you have a man with literal god powers who was a slave, who fought against a tyrant, obviously with disastrous results, but him going up against going up against Sabak, a man with the powers of very powerful ancient demons, who was the only one able to truly defeat him, which I think maybe I was a bit iffy about whether JSA. I guess like it seems like JSA like helping Black Adam was like that sense of like a common enemy, like putting aside their differences, which was good. But I think Black Adam himself, like saving them, would have really brought home in that sense of like that moral gray area of like, even though they hated him, like him saving them from this truly great evil would have really brought home his moral character, at least. But anyways, Amanda Waller is, I guess she's like almost tired of all the superpowered beings and everything, or she thinks that this is just business as usual, or she thinks like calling in Superman will get this thing solved. It's kind of ironic that she thinks it would be so easy, but as with Superman, obviously, his power scale is kind of an issue with DCU, in the sense like with like specifically what happened in the Justice League film, with specifically between him and Wonder Woman, because even there's this whole debate and the things in the comics, who will win between Wonder Woman and Superman. And I think there was an issue of Wonder Woman being so easily subdued by Superman. Like, having her go at least toe-to-toe with him would have been more true to the comics, even though some people say that Superman blitzes her, which I guess, like the whole really old version of him where he, apparently like blows away plants or something. But like I guess like the Superman now, like Wonder Woman. Sorry, I'm not trying to get in a hole. What trying to get into like this a lot. It's just that scene kind of pissed me off because even like, but obviously, as I think Stan Lee said, who the writers want to win will win. But I think like being true to characters and respecting characters, that wasn't really respectable to Wonder Woman. But Black Adam and Superman like have like fought in like other DC mediums before, and because Kryptonians have a vulnerability to magic, I think even though Superman, obviously he'll face against like any opponent, like I mean, he's Superman, obviously. He's all about protecting people, but even though he's more of a black and white, more moral character, like with a lot of DC heroes, but him facing Black Adam, I thought like there's this whole thing hinted like, or apparently now going to be Black Adam versus Superman. I think that probably they're going to have Superman beat Black Adam because they don't want Superman to lose to a character that a lot of people think is evil and everything, or like does not represent a true hero. But Black Adam represents like a character who sees complexity, who is more of a complex character in the sense that great characters see things, in ways that, see things that aren't so simple, that situations aren't necessarily black and white generally or usually, or situations where maybe like in situations like with Sabak, what Black Adam did was the greatest good in that needed sense. Like Superman probably wouldn't have been able to defeat Sabak because certain supernatural beings have literally handed Superman's ass to him. And someone who has like no intention of holding back, who has no remorse for certain actions, like he was willing to kill Adriana and Amon to get his power. I mean, this isn't even like a thing where like it was like a need to survive thing. This was just he was willing to kill to kill her and her son, the goad to Adam to killing him to get his power. And while he didn't kill them, if he was willing to kill two people, he possibly could, even though he was is apparently the leader of Inner Gang, and he was lying to them the whole time. They're trying to find the crown and everything. But it's possible, like, doing that could have possibly made things, like, uncertain and complex to him. But apparently, I guess it didn't. And he was still willing, even though he said sorry to Amon, he was still, going to kill him and his mother. Having a character like that who has powers that can obviously hurt even someone like Superman, and who has no intention of holding back, and who is willing to do all kinds of brutality. Black Adam was the one who had powers, at least on the same level, like the whole thing with like being demons or gods being more powerful. I'm not going to get into, but like having the powers of powerful demons, but also having the powers of powerful gods, and having the understanding of this character and what he's willing to do and what he believes he has to do is something that really hits home, because even Hawkman says to beat his ass, because Black Adam is the one who is the one capable of defeating him. Well, I think honestly Wonder Woman should have at least been able to like stand against him or possibly defeat him. In this movie, Black Adam was the one to defeat him. And it brings up this moral complexity of what a hero is. I don't think it's necessarily black and white, because of the whole no killing, or the whole no killing policy is complex, because as I said earlier, sometimes it's inconsistent. Because, example, Batman, well, obviously he's kind of like, I guess, mentally unstable, but let's say in the sense that he was, or another character, if they're not willing to kill someone like the Joker, who literally kills countless people just for laughs or to go Batman or other characters to do something, but or just in a sense just to have fun. But they're say willing to kill, say maybe a vampire who has to feed on blood to survive. And and I'm not going to get my whole thing with vampires, but just say this sense they're willing to kill a vampire just to survive, but won't kill Joker who kills countless fun. It really speaks to how sometimes absurd or inconsistent the whole no killing policy is, and we see how someone like Black Adam who sees gray areas can see how maybe a certain action in a certain circumstance is what's needed to be done. Because with Sabak, someone who was at that point one of the most powerful beings possibly in the universe, not just on Earth, who who was willing to kill countless people, and Black Adam believes there needs to be a violent action to protect people or to avenge people from such a great evil, really speaks to the complexity of morality in this, because I don't morality is not just, I don't think it's necessarily black and white. It's a spectrum. There's a lot of gray areas. And I think this really speaks home to it. And obviously Superman, well, obviously Black Adam is wrong and everything, and he has to give up and everything, but it's leaning towards that. But I think Black Adam is a character who could both literally and metaphorically stand up to Superman, because even though Superman obviously has the tragedy of what happened to his homeworld, Black Adam is the one who was a slave, who experienced all these horrible things, who saw his family be murdered by a tyrannical king, and seeing the descendant of that king who gained the power that his ancestors so coveted, and willing to kill countless people, and did the action what he believes was needed to be done, could bring up that moral gray area. But obviously with DC, they usually tend to lean with characters like Superman or Batman and the whole no killing policy. No matter what, it probably will leaning towards probably Superman winning both the debate and the fight, which I think is absurd because of what we saw with the movie with Black Adam. But it's just it's really upsetting. We see such complexity and gray morality, but only to be brought down. But that's just something that's, I guess, be used to the point, but which I thought could be changed, but I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I got the sense that because of what this is like, I'm not sure I have high hopes for Black Adam winning. Now, as to Black Adam himself, I really think The Rock did really good, as I said earlier with us. You really get the sense of his power, his imposing fierce might. You had all these people going up against him, and they're really literally rushing into the lion's jaws, and he is just wiping the floor with them back to back, and he's just brutal with what he does, which is good. It really speaks to the brutality and violent nature of Black Adam, in a sense of this gray morality that he does this to really bad men who are controlling people, who murder people, who are willing to murder people. When we see Black Adam willing to protect people, and even though he says he's not a hero, he does heroic things, which is really speaking to his gray character in the sense of his complexity. We see that The Rock really did. We see that The Rock really did bring Black Adam to life. While I think he maybe wouldn't have smiled as much as he did in the film, we still get that stern, fierce sense of his power and his personality. Now, I think that maybe more glaring or frowning in the sense of him going up against those who say he's wrong for what he did, even though it was to protect people or to avenge people. I guess there's those things that I think a bit uncertain about, but I think it's really positive in the sense of how Mr. Johnson really brought the 10th Adam to life in this film, and we see that this character of great power and moral complexity and what he's willing to do and what he believes needs to be done is really, really great, because I do think that he really did bring Black Adam to life, and because I really do think I do believe The Rock really did great with Black Adam. I hope you liked this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be trying to get more videos out when I can. I think I may try to get a review out on a certain show whose first season just ended. I don't know if or when, and obviously a couple of videos of another film that I've been very much looking forward to, that's coming out next month, and apparently another film that's coming out a month after that, which actually not to say it's actually forgot about, because I've been looking forward to both Black Adam and next month's film. But hope you enjoy my video, and thank you for watching.